Here opens the court of the kings of Misrule, Wyatt, his royal monstrousness, and Thomas of Vackerfell. Your Majesties, we had many foolish competitions today, and it pleases me, or if it pleases you, I should say, I will now announce the fools who were victorious in those competitions.
That would be excellent.
Pleases us greatly.
We had a plague rat race. It was rather vicious and kind of gruesome. And the victor of that was Hemorrhagic Magic, owned by Frigg of Rivenoak. I believe Frigg is new, so congratulations to her.
Well played.
There was a lay epic meme fight. There were many, many, many entrants. The victor were two. We have Miranda of Rivenoak, who won the quality category, and Ragna of Vackerfell, who took the quantity category.
Excellent.
That's awesome. Well done. Well done.
There was also a competition to decontaminate Grandma. She's been on the road and exposed to the virus. Let's decontaminate her with some good spirits. The winner of that was Katria All Meghirin with a ring around the rosy tonic. Katria, I apologize if I've mispronounced your name. Then we had siege cooking. That was won by Clifton Summerall, who made siege pockets. I'm sure they were delicious. Next, we had Project Runeway. Kipriana Loden's daughter took that victory with her wonderful model, Perrin Lodenson. Lastly, there was the lawn invasion. Gwen, unfortunately, was sent to his room. And the last we heard, there were still several people left on the lawn when the hounds were released.
Oh dear.
We don't have a conclusion yet. Your foolish kings of Misrule, it's been made known to me that Baron Loden and Baroness Finna have business with you. If you would please see them.
So your foolish majesties, we quite feel that you don't belong in our chairs anymore. So Thomas, Wyatt, I'm sorry, but Fruit Squad!
And banishment happens just like that.
Banished for the good of the realm.
Banished for the good of the realm.
Fun while it lasted, maybe next time.
That was awesome.
Now that they have been banished for the good of the realm, all pay heed to the court of their excellencies, Loden and Finna, Baron and Baroness of Rivenoak. Their excellencies welcome into their court their majesties Uther and Vera, King and Queen of the West, their highnesses Sarah, Princess of the Mist, their highnesses Ragnar and Brynhild, Prince and Princess of Sinagua, and their highnesses Soren and Eleanor, Prince and Princess of Oertha. Your excellencies, I believe the king and queen have business with your populace.
Please, have words.
So we got some questions, and we know that people are curious about some of what's going on in the background. I think the first question was, what went into making the decision to close events, or what goes into protecting the West Kingdom in time of crisis? And I think that's a really important moment to think about us, is not so much king and queen, but as officers in a club that's trying to pass out information as officials and follow the governmental guidelines, county guidelines, state guidelines. This has been the case in the past where fire warnings have come out, or flash floods, or other things. And in the case of coronavirus, we were all monitoring the progress. And until the threat level got raised to something that seemed urgent, we were both, like me and Vera, were in conversation daily up until to go to Gulf Wars, and we pulled the plug the week before. How many days was it, Your Majesty?
I think we pulled the plug on Wednesday, and we were supposed to fly out on Saturday.
Yeah, and so we were really looking forward to getting out there, and it wasn't like, I don't think either of us were worried up until the CDC updated their hotspot and New Orleans went from being low risk to high risk. And much the same thing in Santa Clara County. It escalated in a series of emails or messages from the government where it went from no events over 500, no big deal, we can manage Crown. No events over 250, we can no longer manage Crown. And then down to events of 50 or less, and that's a different situation. And so really what went into it, we had our Seneschal, Gavin, is outstanding, and he really does do a great job of, Your Majesties, if you've seen this, and then good old CNN does inform their Majesties, was a very good town crier of what's happening and what the standards are, and then the California.gov website. And that'll be very similar coming out of this, as much as me and Her Majesty are really relieved that we do not think we're going to see the impact in California such as they saw in New York, or we're not going to see the impact that was originally projected of 200,000 deaths in the United States. That being said, we're going to have to think about how we approach this and come out in stages. And the first thing that'll probably come off is have a fighter practice, right? We can probably have some fighter practice. That's 15 or 20 people. It's a low number. It's manageable, but that won't be able to be available until governments release social distancing as a mandate. And that's the thing that kind of prevents fighter practice at this point. There's other countries such as Sweden who haven't done a shelter in place. They're doing a quarantine the most vulnerable. And then there's several other treatments. And I think the quarantine we did was absolutely necessary. And I'm really glad the state of California acted so quickly, because I don't have a lot of personal friends that are suffering from this other than boredom and day drinking, which is not so bad in the scope of things. So, so look at those California guidelines. Governor Newsom puts a thing out most days. When he says we can go out and do stuff, that's when we're going to bring it up. And it also, one of the things I want to highlight is it's not going to be unilateral across the West Kingdom. Alaska might come out of this much earlier. I don't think they've had near the impact. And then other areas in California, unlike great population centers like the Bay Area, they might come out earlier as well, or Reno or something where the gen pop is not as dense. And if those areas get the all clear, we're going to look for opportunity to let them start doing things and find out what that is. That being said, we don't want people to skirt the rules and try to squeeze out of one. I live in this, all of Northern California is locked down, but we're going to slip across the border to Nevada and have a huge event. That's not really the spirit of those rules. That being said, there still is going to be some cross-pollination, and we've got to see what those guidelines are from the state and federal level, and make sure we're good stewards, not just for our own personal health and safety, but our people who are high risk, obesity, diabetes, respiratory issues. All of these things put populace at high risk, and we've got a lot of people in those categories, and I don't want to lose anybody. I really want this to be a thing where we came together, and we have bad stories about cocktails and Zoom meetings and other things, and that would be our ideal outcome.
So the next question is, what guidance can Your Majesties give to the populace regarding self-care, monitoring stress, and treating others well, both online and offline, during a time of self-isolation and quarantine? So, we understand that this is definitely a time of high stress. Some folks, the introverts among our group, are very happy in their caves. They're, cooking at home, they're gardening, they're having a fabulous time. But a huge amount of our population are extroverts, and not getting to see people, not getting to talk to people is
not getting a hug.
Really hard. And so not getting a hug. Yeah. And so honestly, I didn't even know Zoom existed before this lockdown, I will be honest. And I have spent more time on conference calls, video chats, talking to people than my little introverted self ever would have thought 3 months ago. And I have to say, that is a big step. Reach out to people. That's a big one. If you're feeling lonely, someone else probably is too. For self-care, do some meditation, do some gardening, do something that brings you joy, be it exploring one of your arts, be it baking, be it gardening, whatever you've been putting off because you're too busy. This is a great time to explore that.
I think saying be active, right? It doesn't, active and productive is not necessarily the same thing. You don't have to paint the Mona Lisa or complete a huge project. That being said, walking around your block is, I think, universally acceptable in California. Me and my family go out for a walk daily. My daughter wants 2 or 3. Sometimes there's a second walk. I find that helps me. People talk about keeping a schedule, getting up early, brushing, getting dressed like you're about something is a huge thing. If you stay in jammy jams all day, you'll stay in jammy jam mindset. Get some clothes on, be the professional that you are. It does change your mindset, just like putting garb onto an event. Suddenly you feel like you're at the event.
And I want to touch on the online aspect of this. And it's really easy when you are behind a keyboard and not face to face with someone to let your frustration come out in a way that is not kind. And I think for all of us, it behooves our society to step back, and when you see a post and you're not completely sure what someone is saying, to not assume that they're being cruel or mean. And if you're concerned, ask a question, ask for clarification, and then respond. But don't just jump on someone, you know, approach everything with kindness and courtesy.
And even if you disagree, we can be polite in our disagreement, which is, there's a lot of views on what this COVID thing means and how we're going to come out of it. And I don't think anybody has the science 100% down. It's a new horizon for everybody. And there's countervailing views out there. And you don't want to diminish anybody or shut them down in conversation and hurt people's feelings.
Right.
So I think the last question, we don't want to take up all the Excellency's time, I wanted to address is, there's 2 questions that are very related. What guidance can you give baronies, principalities, shires, canton colleges, and then also including royalty, officers, members of the peers, guards, courts, guilds, households, to how can they stay connected, or how can they be doing things during this or keep the things going, is what the thrust of the question is. And what I would say is, if you're a leader, let your people be amazing. One of the things is, don't try to control things. Have an open Zoom page, pass that Zoom out a lot, get people you want, and don't think that you have to do it yourself. Quite the opposite. You know, my household we're not super active right now, but my nightly lineage, the Knights of Greyhelm, one of the knights just said, hey, I'm putting together a Greyhelm cocktail hour, and we all got on Zoom and chatted. Another one of the knights in the household put together a hot fights of YouTube and cranked out some really old YouTube videos of all of us fighting. We joked, and it was supposed to be fight review, but it really was cutting up and laughing with our friends and staying connected. And that is universal across everything. Interested, and even if it's a few people, whether it's a household, principality, or a group, find a few social activities, and then also ask people to host some things and just disperse it. Don't think you have to do it all yourself, because a lot of us, I'm still working at home. I'm having to provide childcare. And then, I got to be honest, this is a tough time. It's hard to be your best self and 100% in the moment and happy and bouncing around for 5 Zoom meetings in a week. But if you had to do one, I bet you could log in where you can. And so I think my real takeaway on that is, don't do it yourself, delegate out to other people, and use social platforms and jokes and like Facebook and Zoom and other platforms to connect people. And however that works out, you'll be surprised that it seems to work better when it's not well planned. Quite honestly, freeform takes on a life of its own, like a meme contest. It sounded like it was epic today. I heard a lot of descriptions of that. Sounds like it took a life of its own on. And that is the best social interaction, is when things take a life of their own on. Do you have any other thoughts, Your Majesty, on that?
I actually completely agree with you. My households, we have done Zoom chats. I have done Zoom chats with friends. I have scheduled some Zoom chats with our court and my artisans and my guard, just to keep us all connected. And if you want one, you don't have to be in a position of authority to schedule one. Most people love the feeling of someone reaching out and saying, hey, I'd like to connect with you. Will you join my chat? Reach out to people, maybe people that you don't always even talk to all that much, but just reach out.
Then the last thing I want to add to that is Zoom is offering free services these days. Another really good free service, so you don't need any money for any of this, is Google Hangouts. Another group of my friends are really big on using Google Hangouts. I've gone back and forth between the both, and they're both really good platforms for connecting people. So, well, Your Excellencies, I appreciate you giving us some time to talk to people. I hope we answered some questions and got some good information out there. And Kingdom, I want you to know we miss you. It's the hardest thing to let these events go by and not see my friends and family and celebrate. And we had all this plan about fighting cancer together, and now we're fighting something else. But I can only tell you that I am amazed by how people have come together and done things and supported each other. Me and the Queen talk about that daily when we're chatting. Like, can you believe what happened? Did you see what so and so did? We just could not be more impressed about how the West Kingdom is not only taking care of people and their own families, but people outside their immediate circles, and welcomed other people in, and really took care of their SCA family as well. So
and incredibly proud. I am incredibly proud of our kingdom. Yeah. Like, truly. All right, Your Excellency, we're throwing it back to you.
All right, Your Excellencies, I do believe that the Prince and Princess of Sinagua also have business with your populace.
Please.
By all means.
Thank you so much for allowing us into your court. Like their Majesty said, this has been a trying time, and they took the words out of my mouth quite a bit, that this is our chance to shine, to be good to each other, and to show each other we're here to support them. Part of the reason we do what we do on the weekends, and we reach out to all those that we see are doing great things. And like their Majesty said, it's humbling. It really is. It makes us aware of how much our kingdom has come together as a whole to fight not only the physical aspect of this, the distancing and all the problems were there, but also the social, mental aspect of it as well. I've been preaching this since the moment we stepped up. If we can do something to help the West, our principality, or any other principalities out there, baronies, anything, we're a message away. And that is the truth. Whatever you need, we are here for. You know, the fact that we all got together and attended this event during these trying times is an example of how great this kingdom is, honestly. I thought that was a raccoon at first. It surprised me.
The royal cat wants attention.
So that's one of the things is, you know, we were trying to find a way to connect with everybody without being able to get together. And we'd seen one of the members of our populace play games on her Facebook Live. And so we're like, you know what, why don't we play bingo and give out some of the massive amount of largesse that we were gifted at our investiture. We literally have 4 full shelves still of largesse to give out. So we're trying to do different things and just kind of take people's mind off of it, of everything going on, and just kind of hang out and spend time laughing with each other. And I know one of the days we played Stump the Royals and had them ask us questions, just random trivia questions, and 90% of the questions stumped us. So
I owe a lot of coin.
We owe a lot of coin to people. So, but it's just, you know, fun little things that you can do to kind of distract everybody. Because the first time we played it, it was us on Facebook Live and we couldn't see anybody. And then I was like, no, I need to see people because I miss people. And as much as I get to hang out with him, that's great. But I like other people too, you know, that we get to see. So I would love to see more people in our bingo, just because it'd be great to kind of show that love. And we had a bunch of people asking if the Mist can play too. We can have everybody play. I don't even care if we've got people from the, you know, East coming in and joining with us and playing too. I want everyone to play bingo because it's just a fun thing that kind of just takes our mind off of it. We've also talked about maybe starting like a family feud type of game, and doing different prizes and things like that as well. I know everybody wants one of our mugs with a rain coin because those are trying to get claimed a lot. But yeah. So I love that we got to do this. I love seeing you guys. I miss everyone. I would hug you if I could.
One more thing is that
Yeah.
4:30 Pacific Standard daily, there is a Pell Zoom practice with several Knights of the West Kingdom. And if you're a stick jock or aspiring stick jock or know someone who might benefit from it, we're both on there every day. Please spread the word. There are so many Zoom meetups going on, even including the SCA virtual classroom. Reach out. This is not just a time, to worry about your physical health with everything, but also your mental health. Be creative, learn something new. This is a chance to sit at home and work on a project you may have been putting off because you didn't feel super confident about it. This is your time to shine. Step up, do what you gotta do, and take a leap. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. So that's the challenge we've put out to the Sonoguans, and I hope that the other principalities and kingdoms can see it too, that this is our chance to try something new and to either succeed together, fail together. It doesn't matter because you tried, and that's all I could ever ask for anyone is just do your best.
Yeah.
That's it from us.
I think that's it from us. So.
We thank all the royals for all of their kind words and their support and everything to the populace. We all love you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for being here with us and joining us during our event too. I hope you guys had fun.
Your Excellencies, if you are ready, we can move into awards.
We are ready. Please proceed.
When Rivenoak was a shire, it was decreed that it was necessary to reward those who gave it great service to the group. When Rivenoak became a barony, this order was retained. Their Excellencies call before them Moirin Ingen Brain, Thorfinna Blackhorse, Abigail Delia St. John, Ashlyn Ingen Galba, our wonderful constable, and Reese Ap Gwynbear.
And in their place, we would call forward our proxy. Cipriana, please kneel and take their awards. Not on the count. There we go. So we have an award for each of you, and we will get them to you when we can see you again. We thank you very much for all of the service that you have done our barony.
Very much so.
So thank you.
All these two?
Yes, all those two. Those are all Rivenoaks.
I think we're going to set a new record for most awards to a proxy. There you go.
Thank you very much for all of your service and all of your hard work. I mean, most of you have been officers, and some of you still are officers. And Reese, thank you for all your background work. It's very, very helpful.
Yes.
You're very welcome.
Our barony and our society runs because of the service of our members. I'm glad to be able to give away these awards to those who deserve them so much.
For the newest members of the Order of the Rivenoak, hip hip.
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
I really hope that we got the sign on that correct.
Yes, we were actually talking to Ood about it during our last meeting. So
Fabulous.
Their Excellencies call before them Thorfinna Blackhorse and Moirin Ingenbrain. It was determined that the Barony of Rivenoak was populated by many artisans. To recognize them, there was created the Order of the Oak Leaf, the symbol of those who practice and teach the arts and sciences within the barony. Your Excellencies, if you have words.
We do. Again, we will call forward our proxy.
Proxy!
And Thorfinna, Mum, you guys have helped many, many baron and baronesses throughout their times here, and you've given us largesse, and your arts and all these things have helped enrich our barony. And we thank you very much for all of the service that you do through your art. And again, we will get you your awards when we can see you again.
Apologies, I lost my voice for a moment. For the newest members of the Order of the Oak Leaf, hip hip,
Huzzah!
hip hip,
Huzzah!
hip hip.
Huzzah!
Their Excellencies call before them Justinian of Rivenoak. Those who practice, study, and teach the various arts of combat strengthen the barony. It is the duty and pleasure of the Coronet to recognize and reward such deeds. Therefore do their Excellencies proclaim Justinian of Rivenoak worthy of this great honor, and do admit him to the Order of the Dead Oak of the Barony of Rivenoak. Their Excellencies now bestow a skull as a sign of this honor. Your Excellencies, if you have words.
Justinian, you hide in the background a lot, but you have skill and prowess, and we are glad that you have our backs in these times. You have gone out of your way to teach abilities, and you have continued, you taught at the rec center many times, and now you have continued at our fighter practices, and you have reached out and you're encouraging others. Even though you yourself have been injured, you are still reaching out to those people. And soon as this virus is over, you will get to all fight again together. Thank you very much for all your help and service.
For the newest member of the Order of the Dead Oak, hip hip.
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Their Excellencies call before them Gavin of Fetburg. In the Barony of Rivenoak, service is not limited to those of advanced years. There are many in this barony who, while small in years, are not small in service. To reward this, the Order of the Acorn was created. The symbol of this award is a bell, representing the acorn, so that we may recognize them from afar. Your Excellencies, if you have words.
Gavin, I know this, you've almost outgrown this award, but I wanted to make sure you got it in time because you have helped out a lot in our barony as you've grown up, and I was surprised that you didn't have this. So thank you for all of your service, and I'm sure even though you're probably still asleep, I'm sure I will get it to you. Thank you for all of your help and your service behind the scenes.
For the newest member of the Order of the Acorn, hip hip.
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah!
Their Excellencies call before them Talina di Giuseppe da Fiesole. It takes a village to raise a child, and in a village, there are those elders who guide and teach the young. Those elders should be recognized for the continuing service they perform. The Golden Oak Leaf was created to honor those individuals who have long taught and mentored the other members of the barony. Your Excellencies, if you have words.
So, Talina has only been with us for a little while, but she is.
There you go.
Sorry, show it to the camera. Don't move towards the camera. Got it. She has been with us a lot and helping us along the way. She jumped into this whole game full force, and she has gone out of her way to teach people. She has gone out of her way to help people with cooking and sewing, and she's even opened up her own virtual Zoom classrooms to help people with this and just reach out and give people a place to hang out. And because of all that, we wanted to give her one of our higher teaching honors of the Golden Oak Leaf. And these were nicely created by Casper Lucas, and they are very beautiful. So I just had to show them off. Okay. Thank you for all of your service, Talina.
Even today, while others were fighting it out with memes, she had opened up areas to chat and show off cooking and talk about the various arts that she does, mostly cooking from my understanding.
her Italian persona is her goal, and it's wonderful. All the research she does on it is fun and fascinating. Thank you again for everything that you do, Talina, and for hosting this entire Zoom meeting.
Thank you, Your Excellencies.
For the newest member of the Order of the Golden Oak Leaf, hip hip,
Huzzah!
hip hip,
Huzzah!
hip hip.
Huzzah!
Their Excellencies call before them Maeva Bjornolfskona and Miranda of Rivenoak. The Order of the Rivenoak was created to recognize those who give service to the Barony. Those who continually give great service to the Barony at baronial events deserve special recognition. Thus, the Order of the Oakwood was created to recognize those who continue to give of themselves to the Barony, and we are better enriched for their service. Your Excellencies, if you have words.
So, the Oakwood is just a simple oak and dowel, but it conveys a lot to us of how much service you've done for us, above and beyond anything we could really expect at this time. I mean, gosh, you guys took it a step further. You took it upon yourselves to open up classrooms and stuff and invite people to keep doing ANS, keep doing Bardic, keep doing Scriptorium, and you took charge of those. You didn't just go, hey, we should do this. You guys took charge and you created it and helped out this barony so we can keep thriving as one, as together. So thank you very much, Maeva and Miranda.
As this virus started slowing down our society and our very world, these two took it upon themselves quickly to organize, set up, and develop areas and ways for us to still come together, enjoy the arts, sing our bardics, and be a group not divided by the situation that we find ourselves in. This is a very powerful thing you have done, and I thank you for it.
Thank you very much, both of you.
For the newest members of the Order of the Oakwood, hip hip,
Huzzah!
hip hip,
Huzzah!
hip hip.
Huzzah!
There occasionally comes the time when the Baroness of Rivenoak wishes to show her appreciation to those who have given her assistance and joy. The Baroness's favor is a sign of her gratitude, and the Baroness's favor is unique to each Baroness of Rivenoak. Her Excellency Finna calls before her Hilary the Puppeteer, Thorfinna Blackhorse, Miranda of Rivenoak, Bran McMurphy, Aislinn Ingen e Galgoper, our wonderful constable, Kiddo Ruffer.
Roxy, not the cat. So, our event that we had today wasn't even in my brain pan until Mistress Hillary decided that she wanted to run plague rat races and we should be able to do all this stuff virtually, and what's holding us back except for just doing it. So we did it. And Mistress Hillary, thank you so very much for pushing us and inspiring us to stay together as a barony. Many of our Rivenokies are not in great health, and this virus isn't helping. And several of you went out of your way to make them food, to help them get their stuff so they didn't have to come out and do this, and on multiple occasions, over and over again. And Aislinn, Murphy, sorry, Bran, Miranda, and
Thorfinna.
Finna, thank you.
Thank you, Harold.
Thank you very much, Harold. You guys went out of your way and helped out our barony and kept it strong and kept it together. So I thank you very, very much for that. And Kidda, you go above and beyond every day, but today, or not today, this past, you have created many, many, many masks to help out those who can't get them anymore. You have sent them abroad. You have only asked to help out with materials a little bit, and it's all your own time. And thank you for helping and fighting this virus in the best way you know how. And I very much appreciate what you've done for this barony. Thank you very, very much.
For the newest recipients of the Baroness's favor, hip hip,
Huzzah!
hip hip,
Huzzah!
hip hip.
Huzzah!
Your Excellencies, I believe Seamus of Rivenoak wishes to have words with your populace.
Please,
Go ahead.
Seamus, our seneschal, please come forward and talk.
Hello, Your Excellencies. Thank you for the time during court. May I please agree to speak with the populace?
Yes,
Go
you
ahead.
may.
Thank you. What I want to say is that this is a historic time for Rivenoak, not only for Rivenoak, but for the entire West Kingdom and in the known world. Rivenoak specifically, over the past few years, has survived the threat of flooding from the Orville Dam, survived the campfire, has helped support and helped those who have been affected by the car fire. And we are now not only surviving, but in many ways thriving during this coronavirus situation. While we have social distancing, it's obvious that, and we have shown today, that we can all stay together and stay connected. And that's really important for our sense of community, because it's really a sense of community that helps us to be able to watch out for each other emotionally and psychologically, to help us be our best selves, as their majesties and their highnesses were said, to be gracious and understanding during this time, to help inspire hope and help inspire new possibilities in others. Today, at least 47 people marked that they were attending the event today, and that was not due to the posts on the gate, which we had plenty, and 125 marked that they were interested in this event. That's a great number, and those people came from all over the known world. At the same time, although we cannot get together in person, this is the best solution, I believe, in ensuring that we still maintain that sense of community. And as Hillary has inspired you, as their majesties during the virtual March Crown have inspired you, Your Excellencies, I believe that this has been a fantastic opportunity, and hopefully other groups, baronies, shires, cantons, colleges will do similar things and really bring a sense of community to everyone. There are obviously, whenever you have an event, there's a lot of people who come to make it possible. And as I'm standing in for being the effective autocrat for this announcement, I'd like to thank some people. Thank you to their majesties, Uther and Vera, the King and Queen of the West, for their leadership during a very difficult time, not only within the West Kingdom, but throughout the whole world, mundane as well as within the society. Gavin, our Kingdom Seneschal, who for his support and his quick communication and consistent follow through, he helped to ensure that we were able to get this variance to allow us to have official court during this event virtually. To Kelly McGill, the Society Variance Deputy, for communicating with the SCA Board of Directors and granting us this variance. To Siggy, our Baronial Herald, for doing a fantastic job, not only of this court, but also the announcements throughout the day, which many of them were quite hilarious. We also have Hillary for a fantastic plague rat race. It was a lot of fun. And I think that unfortunately my poor rat, Lime with your corona, got too drunk and forgot to show up to the race. But oh well, maybe next time. Bjorn for hosting the Fighting Meme Fools Tourney tournament, and also for all the clinics and demos that you've been putting on throughout CSU Chico and the local schools in the Rivenoak area. Catherine DeVere for the Detox Grandmother competition. Both Bjorn and Catherine also had to help me post, since Facebook thought it was a virus because I was posting too often. Aislinn and Gwen for running 2 gates, and for our curmudgeon for allowing us to have a lot of fun on his lawn without chasing us off. I was, surprised on that. But it happens. We also have obviously Kidda, who did Project Runeway for the personal protective gear. That was really neat to see. Reese for helping streamline this court throughout the known virtual world within the kingdom, at least. And for Kid and Reese for their support and technical affairs to the entire barony. Special shout out to Talina, who ran the Zoom Tavern today, cooked dishes food, being an amazing prima consocia, which is a term for head of court for their excellencies, and an amazing exchequer. For our constable, for Quiet Wyatt and Thomas of Vockerfell, the former king and king of Misrule, for bringing great foolishness, silliness, and frivolity to our activities, which I believe was the wish of their excellencies. For Facebook, thank you, virus, and especially thank you to your excellencies for your leadership, for keeping us with the community, and for really working well with all of your officers, to our officers, and to everyone who participated in this event, to all the populace. Thank you all for making us have such a wonderful time. And thank you for allowing me to say these words.
Thank you very much, Seamus.
Thank you very much, Seamus. You did a wonderful job, and I didn't even need to use my sign. So.
I am humbled by your excellencies thinking so highly of me.
Be prepared.
Your excellencies, do you have any further business with this court?
I mainly just want to thank all their highnesses and majesties for joining us here and making this fun, and everybody who came out to play in our virtual event. It was a blast. Everybody kept on their toes, and thank you so much for coming out and making this fun.
I would like to thank all of the officers and the populace of our barony. This is a trying time, and I was quite disheartened when we had to postpone our Fool's Tourney. But seeing our officers and everyone in our barony come together to make this virtual event such a wonderful and enjoyable experience, you have made it so that I am proud to be called the Baron of such a wonderful barony. Thank you all for everything you do and being the wonderful people you are.
That is all we have at this time.
There being no further. Are we ready?
Yeah.
There being no further business before this court, long live the Baron of Rivenoak.
Long live the Baron of
Rivenoak.
Long live the Baroness of Rivenoak.
Long live
The Baroness of Rivenoak.
Long live the King.
Long live the King.
Long live the Queen.
Long live the Queen.
Long live the Prince and Princess of the Mist.
Long live
the Prince and Princess of the Mist.
Long live the Prince and Princess of Sinagua.
Long live the Prince and Princess of Sinagua.
And long live the Prince and Princess of Oertha.
Long live the Prince and Princess of Oertha.
Oertha.
And we are done.
Hip, hip.
Oh, hip hip.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Huzzah!
Hip hip.
Huzzah! Cali Greyhound!
Cali Greyhound!
Cali Greyhound!
Cali Greyhound!
Thank you, Siggy.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome.
And we are going off the air in 3, 2, 1.